This is an overview of RaceJoy for interactive virtual races. And we'll be covering the ways that you can use RaceJoy for your virtual events. So the industry has been evolving and changing given the current climate of the industry. And so races are adjusting and they're adjusting to the changing conditions and seeking out ways to create a tangible official race experience, especially with virtual events that are like the race anywhere type of event. Races are trying to capture ways to make it feel more like a race versus just someone going out and doing a training run and just capturing their time with their GPS and so forth. So they're looking at creative ways like RaceJoy to provide those tangible elements of a race. And the goal is to reduce the cancellations and offer a feasible solution, especially given that we're about to head into the fall races. And there's really a need to differentiate with other virtual experiences because there is a surge of virtual events coming into the marketplace. So we need to figure out ways that we're offering a creative solution that's different from others. And obviously we all need to be supporting the safety measures of the for social distancing and all the different requirements for different regions, and this is continuing to change. We see hotspots picking up in certain areas, and then different regulations come about in response to that. So we need to be flexible, and the great thing is RaceJoy addresses all of these things. And then on the other side, you have the participants, the potential participants, and we see that they're looking for positive experiences and ways to engage socially, but in a safe manner, and they're craving this self achievement. So at the end of that is that the demand is there, and it's like, how do we take advantage of the demand that's there and respond to their needs? Okay. And so RaceJoy is a RunSignup product, and it offers a mobile race experience, and it's all about the race day. So there's a lot of great features that encompasses RaceJoy. And you are then, from the race organizer's perspective, you're able to offer an official race experience that's uniquely your own through different custom components. You have content, audio, and so forth. And at the end of the day, you're offering an interactive virtual race experience because the participants are able to have interaction from remote spectators as well as from you, the race organizers. So you're able to support your participants through that interactive capability so that they don't feel like they're running or cycling alone.
Site. And obviously, RaceJoy, that's where we started from, and we continue to support that. But on the other side, you have the purely virtual race, what we like to call race anywhere type of courses. And that's not necessarily a course, it's more of a distance that they complete. So it's maybe a 10-mile distance that they can run from any location, or bike from any location, or walk from any location. So that's why we call it race anywhere. With RaceJoy, you're able to offer virtual results, so you still get that result part of things. But with RaceJoy, we have to have a set start and finish time. So it can be expanded. It could be for a course of a month or 2 weeks or what have you. But we need to have a start and finish date that they can complete it. And then in between, we offer support for hybrid type of what we like to call hybrid virtual. And that's where maybe you have defined courses, but you have more options so that you're kind of spreading the people around, and they're expanded race dates. So maybe instead of 1 5K, you have 3 5Ks and locations, and you have expanded race dates and times. And maybe you have those corral wave starts that Bob was talking about in his keynote. And it may be officially timed, or you can use virtual results.
Yeah, in the hybrid space, we're seeing everything. We're seeing maybe just on Saturday and Sunday, you have the official timing, and then outside of that, you still have the event go on for 2 weeks, and you have the non-timed use of the same courses.
So I just wanted to point out that we do not support the challenge events. I know there's tremendous interest in this, and it's great. And RunSignup is doing a wealth of products and features and capabilities around this. So I encourage you to look at the blogs around this. We are working on supporting this and hope to have it by the end of summer. So, but what I mean by challenge events is those cumulative type of events where maybe they're accumulating miles over a period of time, and where it's more of a start, finish, or they start, stop, start, stop. We need to just start one time and stop one time. Now, they could do an ultra that maybe is overnight through RaceJoy, but it's not this kind of, adding on miles each day type of thing. So
yeah, and we definitely see the use of the redo. So again, they can do it multiple times, but we just don't accumulate right now. And so that'll be coming later, where we actually accumulate and tally up on one event.
So RaceJoy, and I'll go through the features kind of high level, and I'm going to describe the features, and James is going to show you a demo of them. But I do want to mention, I know Bob mentioned in this keynote, but there is a run on Thursday. It's a 5K. It's RaceJoy Rocks, and it's in the app. If you register for RaceJoy Rocks, just go to RunSignup's website and look for it and register for it. Your finished data will automatically be submitted through the app. So we encourage you to try it out, but you'll get the full use of all the features if you try it out, because we programmed a lot of information and so forth in there. But for RaceJoy, it gives you a tool that you can engage with your spectators remotely, or your remote spectators, and have your spectators engage with your participants, and in a socially safe fashion, because they're not on site, they're using the app. And then your solo participants, you're offering them support. You're engaging with them real time without even having to do anything, and helping them feel supported and connected with your official race experience. And then for you're given tools to kind of manage things. You have a dashboard that you're able to see who's out on the course or who's using your Race Anywhere. You have a news alert system and so forth, and we'll cover those. And I did want to mention that RaceJoy has been tried and tested with more than 1 million users. We've been around for more than 7 years and all across the country. So it's definitely a well-tested product that has a lot of tools and features in it. So for the participants, what do they get? What is RaceJoy all about? Why do they even want to use it? These are the main features, and one of the biggest features that people use it for is that live GPS phone tracking. So they carry their phone when they're completing their course, whether it be Race Anywhere or on site, and then people can track them in a map view. And then we have a send a cheer feature, and that's where people can send cheers to them remotely, and they can engage with their participants, and their friends and family can do it from actually all over the world. And then progress alerts, that's where they're getting alerts all along as they complete their distance, as they complete the course, and they'll get those at every mile, typically at every mile. And that gives them kind of the performance information, and then scored results, as I mentioned. And really the most important thing is they get an official race experience. It's not just going out using a training app that they're doing a run. They feel connected with your race, and that this is something different, and I'm part of this race, and I'm connecting with this race.
And the results are being tallied up against other people doing your same race.
Yeah. So GPS tracking.
Warning, you may be.
Sorry, that was one of our little cues that we'll get to. But GPS tracking in the phone. This is showing you the blue dots on the screen, and that's what it looks like in the app. So the person that's being tracked, their blue dot will move along in the map view, whether it's Race Anywhere or if it's on site. And it's an interactive map viewing, so they can scroll in to see where they are. So they can, if they're on site, they can kind of adjust when they're going to see them on the course and so forth. We do have one of the great features with RaceJoy for those on-site types of events is this off-course alerts. And that's that we just started to play, is if they go off course, they'll get a warning, and then they can look at their map and see where to go. So it's definitely key if you're not out there able to provide them with support, or maybe you aren't able to have directions and so forth on the course.
And this is really important right now in this hybrid space that we're in. You're probably going to be doing events where you're not, doing the traditional event, and you're going to have to not have a lot of signage out and so forth. We had an ultra go on this weekend, and again, just no signage and everything. And so the off-course alerts are very important for this space.
Warning, you may be off course.
So it's just a simple message that they get, but it makes use of the audio that they have with their phone. So send a cheer is a very popular feature in RaceJoy, and this is where participants or spectators can send participants audio cheers. And we have all these campy cheers that are loaded in the app. Again, I encourage you to use RaceJoy Rocks on Thursday. James is going to go through a demo of some of this. They can also send personalized text-to-cheer messages, and that's where they type in a message that's then played in audio format. So, so it's a great tool. It's a great way to embrace those remote spectators. And it's something that if you're working with your local municipalities, that you're showing that, you know, this is how I'm supporting social distancing. You know, I still want my spectators involved, but through RaceJoy, they're providing their support. And this is one of the tools I'm using to encourage social distancing.
That's a good point.
Wow, what's that aftershave you're wearing?
Hey, how you doing?
So yeah, they're just kind of fun cheers, so ways to little clips to kind of just make put a smile on their face. So the progress alerts are great, and the timers on the call. I know that this is something you've been struggling with: is how do I provide, you know, the timing or split or official results and so forth. RaceJoy uses GPS technology to provide this, so we detect, you know, if they're doing the race anywhere, we detect that they've completed a mile, so we're going to send them an alert. If they're on the course, we detect where they are on the course. So that's how it works. They get it in audio format, gives them their pace information, and it helps them to kind of manage their performance and lets them know how they're doing. So.
You are at mile 8. Total time 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 16 seconds. Split pace 8 minutes 46 seconds. Average pace 8 minutes 32 seconds. Estimated finish time 1 hour, 51 minutes, and 47 seconds.
And this is what the spectator gets. So they get an in-app notification as they cross mile points on the course. One of the important points here is that you can showcase sponsors with these. So with each of those alerts that go out, you can showcase a sponsor like this is showing Starbucks here. So it's definitely, I would say that's one of the most valuable ways to showcase a sponsor in RaceJoy. So the virtual results, again, we've been super excited about this because the development was recently done to do the integration with RunSignup to have all those result data automatically submitted through the RaceJoy app, and it goes directly into your results. So if you have your results posted on your website, any finisher data that's coming in from RaceJoy automatically be submitted. It's virtual results product. People can submit the results either through RaceJoy, right, if they use RaceJoy, or they can submit them through a link on your website, or they can text it in. And all of those will be funneled into one area, and your results will all congregate together and then get delivered in the app. So you'll have real-time results in the app, which is great. Now, this is something that needs to be set up in the back end to have this enabled. And also the participant has to obviously register for your event, and they need to be assigned a bid number. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to James, and he's going to do a demo of really more of what is the participant experience from the app perspective.
Great, thank you, Sean. So this is the event that you're going to be hopefully either running or walking or biking on Thursday with us. So we call it RaceJoy Rocks. It's available. It's just a 3-mile distance that you need to complete. And definitely you come in and search for RaceJoy. And the very first screen you're going to see, just to kind of give you a quick demo, is this. And you're going to choose the I want to be tracked option. You set up a profile. A key point here is that we're not tied to registration. So again, everybody can create their own pseudonym. This is very important for privacy reasons, that they wouldn't maybe be tracked by some other name or other pseudonym, and it's not tied to the registration. Where the integration with the registration results comes in, that's all based on that result, and that's when the integration comes in, but not at this point. And so again, they can set up, this is really important, this is where they're gonna put in that bib number that you have assigned out for your virtual race. So it's very important to go to those trainings, understand how bib assignment works with virtual results, and make sure they're getting those emails so that they know what to put in when they get to this screen. And that's pretty much it. They've got a profile, they're ready to go out and do the fun. So this is an example of an event where we have the Race Anywhere. Again, for the symposium, everybody's everywhere. And this is a very typical scenario where you would have a Race Anywhere option as part of your event. Now, in another moment, I'll show an example where we have both courses and Race Anywhere. So you want to think about having that combination. And again, the participants will be able to come in, select the different courses that you provided, and choose different options that they want to do based on what they're doing on that day. And we also support redos, so they can do it multiple times. So if you put something out for a month, you have a series over the summer, you're giving people an opportunity to do something over time, and you're giving them greater value because they can kind of go out and kind of redo it and see how their performance is improving. So this is what will happen when we hit start.
Welcome to RunSignup's RaceJoy Rocks, a demo of RaceJoy's Race Anywhere capabilities. We will highlight some of RaceJoy's interactive features as you complete this virtual 5K. This is an example of a distance-based cheer that was scheduled to play as you started your 5K.
So again, as we get into the technology and kind of understand how everything works, you can set these up at different milestones, and you'll be hearing that on Thursday and kind of experiencing that. The other type of course that we have, again, is the more traditional offering of courses. And so we'll jump out on this one. And so again, as I come in, set my profile again. I'm going to select all the different options that I want to do. And they have lots of training and stuff that they can do on it. So in this case, I have lots of different things that I can do, and I've offered different options in my area, again, to provide for different social distancing and so forth that can happen. Now, in this case, we're actually going to be live on an actual course. The simulator is showing me out in Apple's, otherwise, headquarters out in California, otherwise I'd see my blue dot here. And again, they can complete an actual course and actually get those off-course alerts. And then when they're done, they're going to be able to just click right over and get to see those, those actual scored results actually coming in and all being automatically submitted with RaceJoy. So that's the integration of the GPS data to the virtual results sets that have been set up by the timer that you're working with.
Just to show, because you kind of went really fast on that. How do you, there you go. So yeah, so it's a nice tool to have your results automatically being provided. Right. So it's a touchless result system.
Right. And again, this is the combination of doing, set courses so you can have interactive course maps and so forth that you're offering. And then for those that don't want to go out that weekend or during the week when they're off to go do a course, they always have the ability to, switch out and just say, you know what, today I'm just going to do an anywhere option. And, so you want to think about providing both options. And that's a pretty nice, typical race experience that participants are looking for.
Anything else? Okay, so for the race organizers, as I mentioned, there's a lot of features for you on the other side of things. I'm not going to focus on the custom content or sponsor placements. James is going to show that briefly, but I'm going to focus on the last three. The custom course audio or audio experience, like we like to call it. You just heard that in the demo that James did. But this is something that is definitely key for virtual events, and that is that, it's a way for you to engage with your participants without being there with them. It's a way to, just bring your theme to life. If you have a race theme or, getting creative, like if you have a scavenger hunt, you could have an audio alert go off at a certain point on the course saying it's time for you to take a photo of yourself and post it to our Facebook wall. You're at mile 3. So that type of thing. And then the communication system that you can use to communicate with participants and with your spectators, and through a RaceDay monitoring system that gives you a good, information about your participants and data about your participants and so forth. But I'll go into each of those real quick, and James will show you the demo. So the audio messaging is geo-based cheers or distance-based cheers. So they can go out for the Race Anywhere. You can determine I want an audio file to play at the start to try to encourage people, and then maybe every mile, or maybe that's too much. Maybe I just want to do it every few miles along the way, and I want to encourage them, or I have something else I want to share. Like I said, like if it's a scavenger hunt, or if you have a sponsor, you can certainly talk about a sponsor, but it needs to be something that's adding value to their experience. It can't be straight commercials. So the Kentucky Derby Festival really embraces this technology, and they do a great job of just kind of adding their theme to the overall experience, and the participants love it. But we're definitely seeing the virtual space. It's all about this because it's your way of really making that tangible evidence that you're providing this kind of race experience to them. So the purpose is to providing encouragement. If you have an on-course option, that's where you can really take it up in a level, because you can point out interesting points along the course. You can do directional cues, which is really helpful when you're not able to be out there and providing support and signage. We definitely have a lot of races using this to provide directions on the course. And again, you can, we like to see the local sponsors that maybe have been impacted to kind of help them, but try to keep the sponsor messages to a minimum, no more than 2 to 3 per course. And then they really do need to add something to the event. And you can kind of brainstorm, what would be some ways that I can bring, the sponsor can give them something, maybe they give them, there's free water ahead, it's just been left out for them, but it's being provided by a sponsor, that kind of thing. So, but you just don't want to do commercials because people get very upset, obviously. So if you have a custom recording like the one that James just played, where I was speaking at the start, those do take 10 days. And I just want to make sure people knew that. We do need to have a 10-day window for that. There are other ways of doing custom audio files, but it's just those recording ones. But you can do a typed in message that's played in audio format, and you can use our inventory of sound files and sound clips to kind of create one that way. So I think that's it. So the monitoring system, this is where you can see anybody that's using RaceJoy for either the Race Anywhere. So if you say you have participants that are using RaceJoy across the country, you're going to get more of a bigger map view, and you'll be able to see the blue dots. You can, if you have it on-site course, then you'll do each monitoring screen would be a course, and then you can see the blue dots move. You can also go to the progress board to see any type of how is the data for overall, like who has completed your course and what is their performance data. So this is a really nice place or tool to use when your race is live. And I wanted to mention, for those on-site courses, you have off-course alerts that, all those off-course alerts that are going out, you also get a report of that, which is great, because say you get a bunch of off-course alerts for a certain section, then I'm going to go put some signage out there, and because that really needs it, because people are getting off course. You also have a route replay tool, so you can verify if someone's actually completed the course. And of course, any of the data in the progress board that helps you create verification tools, and to just get a feel for what's the status out on the field for those that are using RaceJoy. And this progress board is available for the Race Anywhere as well. Okay, so with that, James is going to pop over and show you the back end of things. So before you saw the app itself, now this is the back end. This is more for you.
Great. So one of the things I want to just use this event, this actually was an altar that we put together in Canada for this weekend, and it's very interesting, again, just to kind of highlight what we're talking about in this space right now. And we see this with altars, but notice what's happening here on their usage. Again, pretty typical for an altar. It's a small field of 70 people, but look at the ratio here of spectators to participants, and just looking at this usage. So again, with the space that we're in right now, you can definitely see that you can use the tool and get people to follow people and do that safely from home without exposing themselves to race conditions. And so how you think about setting up your race so that people can safely start, get through the course, and do the experience, and then have that spectator experience. That's really, I think in a nutshell, that shows what RaceJoy's value is really about there. As we look into the monitoring area, this week, this is actually going on right now. So again, what had been traditionally something that would have only been over the weekend. Let's take a look at what's happening here. So this is your live monitoring view. Again, some of these people here completed, but I think we have somebody actually out there on
Maybe
this
it's a
course right now.
different course.
It'll come up here in a second.
So when they turn gray, that's mean that their phone is deactivated. So Stacy had completed it. Oh, there's one right behind it, 13 maybe.
No, that's great. It should come up
Okay.
here. I had one out here this morning earlier, but I'm not sure. It's gonna come up. Okay. So anyways, this was an event that happened this weekend just to kind of show the tools. So again, Stacy here going through the course, we can see her replay, kind of replay that if we wanted to do some kind of verification. Again, really nice here. We could see that the path that was provided by this event was a little bit off from what they ran, and they actually had some known course issues. And so very important. We can see how things could be actually changed in real time. And this happened real time during the event. They kind of adjusted some markers because they knew that they had some course issues. And so a really nice tool for managing things safely from home for the timers and for the race organizers. They can see how things are going. They can make adjustments if needed to the course and so forth through our monitoring area. And again, the progress board that Shelley was talking about is a great tool to kind of just look at those people that ran that particular course and look at their data and so forth that you have.
The custom content.
Yeah. Okay. So as Shelley said, when it comes to creating that custom content, you're going to be using our course editor to do that. And even for Race Anywhere, it's possible for you to just come in and upload, again, if you do it within 10 days, custom things. But you can use a combination of, all these clips that we put in and then text to speech. So again, if it's like something you just want to change, like literally the event started already and you're kind of in the second week of it and you want to adjust things, not a problem. Just type in the message and it'll convert it into speech. And so here's an example of that I did on the third point here.
Finish it!
Push this last tenth of a mile out.
So again, just kind of combining a little clip file that comes from the inventory, and we just added a whole bunch more this weekend, and then using text-to-speech. So again, you can still provide for a very contextual experience, even with Race Anywhere. And then if it's a traditional course, that's when you're going to be really diving in and doing that actually based upon the course, and you could then set up, much. And so you can have things actually happen. So this is an example of a cue point. You could add, take a right turn, take a left turn type thing. And so again, very easy to add other markers and do different messaging when you're doing this type of mapping.
And just to share, like the maps here, you can customize those. So you can put in water stops. All of that type of information is definitely key if you have a hybrid event that you're not on site. And you want to show this is where the water is and this is where we have some porta-johns, that type of thing. It's definitely key to add those types of map elements so that they know in advance where things are at. And then if you want to show the banner ads or the custom content section real quick. So you can customize, there's different areas that you can customize your race, and that's what James is showing now. So you have your banner ads.
You can adjust the order that they're in.
And then you also have your event info page. And this is, again, showing the RaceJoy rocks, or if you want to do the previewed.
And you can put any kind of content in this area. This is all the information that shows in the app. And then including, you can also add in schedule items and or FAQ items if you want to have.
The schedule.
Yeah. And you can also pre-schedule, how you want to have this shown and so forth.
Okay, so we thought that just given the state of things, that it would be key to just kind of have a communication section, because right now communication is definitely essential. So with things changing and the social distancing requirements and different things are changing by region and things are happening so fast, your ability to communicate with your participants is key. And especially if something changes, say you have an event that's in a park and then the park closes and you need to change where the course is at, or maybe you just wanted to add some more virtual, options and more distances and so forth. Then you need to be able to communicate that. So, and definitely, we want to encourage races to communicate their guidelines through RaceJoy. If you're using RaceJoy, you can use those sections, that custom content section that James just shared, to have like in your FAQs. You can add a whole guidelines, socially safe guidelines, and you can add a whole bunch of Q&As there. And again, you're showing this is how we're supporting a socially safe race experience. So there are different options that you have with RaceJoy, that you can send official race news through the app to anybody that's entered your race in RaceJoy, and that could be spectators and participants. You have those banner ads, so definitely if you have something important, use the banner ads to share any important news. You can use those to cross-promote other events. I definitely recommend doing that. And we also have the ability for you to send direct audio messages to participants that are using RaceJoy at that time. So if they're doing the Race Anywhere, you can send them audio messages directly through the monitoring system. So, say for instance that there's Sarah is out doing her 5K and she's in Georgia. You can send her a message saying, "Hey Sarah, you're doing great. I just wanted to tell you thank you for doing this run," from your race director. And that would mean so much to her to have that connection from you. So with that, James is going to show you, I'm not sure.
That's really weird.
Like this graphical element that came on. So, but James is going to show you what that looks like on the back end.
Yeah, so just
real brief.
Shelley hit on that one point there again on the direct messaging component as part of your communication. So again, as the race director of this event, if they needed to send out a message to everybody on this course, then they can just come right here, hit send a message, type the message. It'll be automatically converted into audio and played on their phone. And so this is a really contextual way to just immediately send out messages. You can also send them to an individual. So if you want to check on this person and just make sure that everything's all right, you can just click on them and also just send them a message.
Yeah, and also say if you had people congregating at your course and you have an on-site event, then that would be something you can tag all those people and say, "You guys need to clear out and support social distancing. Thank you."
So then when we come to the more global communications tool, this is going to be your news area. And again, these can be pre-scheduled, and you can set up when you want them to go out by setting the schedule. Whatever you put in the title and subtitle, that will appear in the actual notification message that goes to the phone. They don't even need to be in the app. They'll get the notification. When they click on the notification, it'll take them into the app, and then they'll see the news alert. And so again, this is all this content is shown in our buzz bucket, which I'll show in a second. And again, this is very contextual. You can put graphics, links, more important information that you want to have for your event. And then, like I said, anytime they click on that notification that comes into their phone, it'll take them straight into the buzz bucket and into your news area. And so this is where you could have your safety guidelines and so forth. And that would be a really good use of your communications. Anything else?
I think that was it.
What happened there?
It's your screen. Okay. So RaceJoy is available through certified timers. And I know some people will say, well, they're not timing my event, so I don't need a timer. And it's really, they've actually gone through the training for RaceJoy. And it makes logical sense because a lot of what RaceJoy is offering is the type of tools that you would get traditionally from a timer, right? Results and progress alerts and tracking and that type of thing. It's just now it's in a virtual format. So RaceJoy certified timers have gone through training of RaceJoy. They know the technology, and they do the work for you. So they'll set up all of the results for you. If you have a Race Anywhere, they'll get everything set up on the back end for you, and they'll also do any kind of those custom cheers if you want. Sometimes there may be an extra charge if you have it, a little bit excessive amount of cheers, and some of them want to just really lay it on, and that's fine. But obviously, if it's more work for them, then they need to be paid for the time. But so they, I just want to make sure people understood that, and we have a next slide. So you can see if your timer is certified. So first, I would go and check to see if your traditional timer is certified, and then you can search on RunSignups. It's under Features, Timer, and then find a timer and just see, you can scroll down and see. If they have this symbol, but they have to have RaceJoy. So you need to check for the RaceJoy. And we have a lot of timers that are certified in RaceJoy. So there is a lot of options. If your timer is not certified, first I would encourage them to get certified, because we're having certification training about every month. And then if not, then you can get with your account manager at RunSignup and ask for one of our preferred certified timers, and they'll get you in touch with them. Now, the great thing for, if you could go back to the, is that the great thing for you is that if you use RunSignup for registration, timers, certified timers are able to provide you with significantly discounted pricing. So I would definitely encourage you to find out if you think the pricing is too high, check with your timer, because we do have standard pricing out there, and that is available for those that have to go through us. But that is the price if they go through us. So go directly through us. So, and again, just kind of recap some big things for RaceJoy is that we do need to have that start and end date for the specified dates, but it is for anywhere. So they can use it if they want to, complete the course anywhere, or if you have a select, if you have defined courses. So obviously it's flexible. So whatever works for you, if you have a combination of. We do require 5 days. So if you have an event that's coming up, we do need to have, 5 days to get that loaded in and have everything reviewed and so forth. So, and as I mentioned, RunSignup races get a discount on RaceJoy. So James is going to talk about, there is a little bit of setup on your side of things. So if you want to get going and making sure things are set up right, now your timer is going to do this. So if it feels a little bit overwhelming, don't worry about it. Your timer knows what to do. So, but we do need to have it set up as a virtual race, whether it be that hybrid where you have expanded race days or the race anywhere. And then also if you want those enhanced virtual results, if you want those virtual results submitted, then you need to enable the enhanced virtual results. And again, your timer will know what to do with all this. So you wanted to mention the...
I'm going to do it after you do the slide. Or do you want me to do the slide? How are we going to do it all?
Oh, well then let me go to the next and then you could do it at the end.
Well, then we'll just go to the slide.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, this is really important for our race directors and race organizers out there. You're going to be setting up your registration, which makes sense for how you want to sell your race. You're going to be working with your RaceJoy certified partner, your timer, to make sure that you can do results. And so when you really think about how you want to organize things from a registration perspective versus how you're going to actually have results and courses, this is where the two come together and you work with your partner. And so I'm going to just jump out for a second and show a couple different configurations. Again, there are so many different permutations of what I'm about to show, and it really is a combination of you working with your timer, certified RaceJoy partner to set things up the way makes sense for you and your business, and then also for them as setting up the results. And so let's look at just two different examples here. So again, I could have an event out here where I really want to just collect all the money, and I want all the money to just be kind of just in one bucket, but yet I'm going to be providing lots of different course options for people to do. But really, I'm only going to have them register and collect registrations on one thing, and then we can call it like the spring series here. But at the end of the day, it is very important to understand that what you have to set up in terms of your race is those different options that will be enabled for RaceJoy. So whatever courses and anywhere racing that you want to provide, you have to set up those events, and you'll be setting those events up in your event wizard. Now, whether or not they have registration or are showing registration, then this is where the two settings are that I'm about to show you that kind of come into play. And one of those settings is how you set up your registration and whether or not you're going to collect money. So in this case, I'm actually not collecting any money on any of these course options, and I'm only collecting money on this one. And then I decided to leave these out as showing on my registration page. And so under your page, you would keep this on, not to hide events with closed registration. In that case, when I set up all these events to be alternate submission races, which I'll show in a second, it still shows the same, from the advertising perspective. And when they go to sign up, they're going to still be signing up for your package. Okay, so it's just one example. Again, looking at how things are going to happen on the back end. That'll be worked with your timer, and they'll be setting up your enhanced virtual result sets, and they'll be collecting the data for the different courses into one option. And so we have lots of different examples going out there. Like this is another great example where we have a summer series going on, lots of different course options. But from a perspective of registration, really they're just registering either for individual courses or the series. So that can be set up. At the end of the day, as Shelley said, what we need from you is we need the event. We need you to establish the tracking period. When is it going to be available for tracking? That's the start and end. This is the entire, and they can do it anytime during that, and they can do it, redo it as many times, but this is the tracking period, and we need to know the distance. So those are the key attributes that are needed for RaceJoy, and we need those events set up. Like I said, there's lots of different ways this can be configured. We would ask you to work with your account manager. They've had training. Shelley has put a handout as part of this, also kind of goes over these options. But you know, registration plus events plus your certified partner setting up those result sets. Those three things have to come together to provide for the experience that your participants are looking for. And
But
also as you as organizers of events.
But again, don't feel overwhelmed because again, that's your timer will end up doing that, and your account manager will help you. So again, we wanted just to invite people to the RaceJoy Rocks on Thursday. You can run it anytime from 5 to 11 a.m. on Eastern Standard Time. Again, register for it so you can get those auto results and download the app. We will have a session on Wednesday where we're going through the phone setup and just kind of making sure people's phones are set up correctly. And then on Thursday, we're doing a debrief of the technology and also, you know, announcing who our top finishers are. So that's definitely something to take advantage of. And I just, in closing, I just wanted to make sure to cover a couple FAQs. One of them is, you know, what if they don't use RunSignup for registration? Oh, did we stop showing the video? Oh, okay. Oh, so what if they don't use RunSignup for registration? They can still use RaceJoy. The pricing will be higher. That's all, and they still need to go through a certified timer. So we do have some timers that have a combination of, you know, races that are on RunSignup's platform and then others that aren't. So, so you could definitely still offer RaceJoy. And can it be used for an event that doesn't have set dates? No, obviously we need to have those set dates.
Just for the overall tracking period.
Yeah,
the duration could be, we've had events out there right now that are going from now all the way into the fall. So
yeah. And are we providing a finish time? Yes, we are. We're providing a GPS-based finish time. So how accurate is that time in RaceJoy, James?
Yeah. So again, if you do the certified course, it's very interesting. As we rolled out Race Anywhere, it now, believe it or not, we actually have timers sending in questions about GPS accuracy, which they used to deal with all the time with their RFID. So it's a really kind of funny paradigm that we're in. But anyways, long story short, if you're doing a certified course, you're going to find it very accurate because it's based on the proximity to a point, which is very different than how somebody meanders and runs 3.1 miles. So you're going to get very different results sometimes between your watch and the phone. And, you know, that's just the way GPS works.
Yeah. So in the time of it, actually, if you think of the time, for the time that's recorded in RaceJoy, it is based on when they click Start My Race. So when they click Start My Race, and then we detect when they finish that distance for the Race Anywhere, we detect when they get to the finish line for those on-site courses. So it's very accurate in time-wise, depending on when they click that Start My Race. Now, if they click the button late or prematurely, then obviously that's going to affect the accuracy. And can a participant redo the course? Yes. So James covered that. They can redo it as many times as they want. However, it will delete the previous performance data.
So it will only if they complete the course. Yeah. It'll replace.
Yeah, it replaces it. So.
Yeah, good.
So
and you know, again, we'll be looking forward to supporting Tally or challenge-based events later in the summer, and that's where it would accumulate.
Great. So
Kevin, we've got a few minutes left here. Why don't you socialize with us? Any good questions out there?
Yeah, a lot of people want to just kind of see a run through setup wise on the Run Anywhere setup. So just because it's pretty straightforward, if you can quickly just kind of show them how that works.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, if I have an existing event out there and you just want to kind of offer that anywhere option, you can either use your existing course or you could add another event to your registration and then just, like I said, hide that. And there's event, and that event is going to correspond with your Race Anywhere option. And so, you know, again, you can add a new one, or you can just go ahead and use an existing one. I'm just going to use an example of an existing one here. And so I've got an event out here, and I'm going to just like say that the Run Anywhere event is going to be my Run Anywhere, and I've enabled that for RaceJoy. And then when you get here, it's really simple. It's just a matter of setting your processing type. So it'll come in here by default, it'll set standard. All you got to do is just say, this is a Race Anywhere, and that's it. That's as simple as that. When you come in here, you'll see that because you set the distance, we'll set up all those milestones, and those milestones will be based upon the distance that you've set up for that event. You can add, which we've done for RaceJoy Rocks on Thursday, intermediate points. And so you could come in here and say, you know what, I want to have a point that's at 0.5 and just put in a distance. I don't want to have any progress alerts go out to them at that point, and I'm going to save that. It'll reshuffle, and then now I could add in a textual message to go out after halfway, you know, on the first mile. So again, very flexible. Again, there's not a map. It's all based upon distance covered, and then you're still having the capability of doing geo-based messages.
All right, distance-based.
Yeah, distance-based messages. Yeah.
Any other questions, Kevin?
Just, I guess, getting a lot of questions on just the pricing and kind of the timer certification process that we have. So maybe just kind of just review that process for some of the race directors on here that aren't certified timers.
Sure. Yeah. So again, RaceJoy is available through certified timers. This is the standard price. So if you use RunSignup, they'll be able to give you a discounted price. I can't give you what that price would be because each race is different. But get with your timer, and they're definitely working with events right now. Everybody knows it's a trying time, and but they will do all the setup and all of the virtual results and stuff for you. So and again, you just search for a timer if you don't have one, or contact your account manager to get one of our preferred ones that have gone through the training. Those timers that are on the call, we have a certification training tomorrow. If you want to join us from 1 to 5, we tend to have these each month since the pandemic has started because there's been such a high interest. So we're looking at the end of July as our next training. So if you could join us tomorrow, the training's free. We're doing that during the pandemic, and normally there's a charge for it. So we're providing that free for timers right now, but it's from 1 to 5 Eastern Standard Time, and you do need to be there the whole time and engage with, there's testing and things like that. So, but there's information on the virtual symposium, RunSignup's virtual symposium about that. So you can look for that there.
And one of the key things I want to highlight here is that your certified partner they're providing you a lot of value because they're also making sure that, you know, things are being monitored, that, you know, things are working correctly. And so this is where all that training comes in. And it's not something that, you know, we could do for every single race in the country. So we really have a distribution, and the distribution is through these certified partners. They've been trained to know how to set up the technology, and then also how to monitor it and make sure things are working. And then we get into all the results, and then we get into all the questions about how to set up registration to the events. And like, I mean, really, they are the true partner for you to get through understanding all this technology. And so really, this is a partner network that you can really tap into. And like we said, those are list prices out there. You're going to find most of your partners are really working with you and giving you significant affordable pricing for this technology.
Yeah, something that I just want to mention, seeing a little bit of it on the questions of the chat. As far as setting up a Run Anywhere event, the biggest thing is in your RunSignup, when you're setting up the event on RunSignup, just make sure you toggle that type to virtual/challenge.
Very important. Thank you, Kevin.
Yep.
We had an event this weekend that had not set this correct, and then you won't get your results. If you don't have this set correctly, the results will not accumulate. Very important.
So once you get that set to a virtual race /challenge type, when you go into RaceJoy, you'll enable the event for RaceJoy, and you'll change the processing type from standard to the Race Anywhere. Once you've got that Race Anywhere, the biggest thing is just setting up the distance for each of the miles. So if it's, for in this case, it's a 4.3 run anywhere race, you click into like the setup for the race run anywhere, James.
I was actually Shelly, so she wanted to she wanted to show.
So if you click into the race anywhere, you can see that all you got to do, what you want to do is enter in the distance of each of your mile markers. So it's a pretty straightforward setup. There's no map setup. You just want to make sure your distance gets filled in. You want to make sure you have a 0 for the start, and you want to make sure your finish distance is populated in there as well. Then the participants would just use their GPS technology to determine, I've run a mile, I'm going to get this alert. So that's, it's a pretty straightforward setup, no map work, none of that. It's just changing the race event type to virtual, and then changing a processing type to race anywhere, and then setting the distance for each of your mile markers.
And you won't actually have to set the distance for the mile markers in here. It will auto default in for you. But yeah,
but if you want to adjust it, if you want to adjust them and add more, then
good to check. Good questions, Kevin. Anything else out there?
Let's see. We have one question about relay. If you want to just mention relay, I know. Great.
So definitely, we hope to get back to more traditional racing. We're really looking forward to that. And again, working with your certified partner, they'll know how to set up your course to be relay type. And we definitely have done a lot of work for relay. Everybody carries their own phone, which is really cool. And we tie together all those phones into one virtual team, and they get actual alerts that are based on their team progress. And then also they get their individual split alerts too. So it's a really nice experience. When I'm running my leg, I know how my pace is, and I know my pace, my estimated time to finish this leg. And then the team is getting overall team progress alerts as they travel through the course. So a lot of work has been done in relay to tie together those phones in one virtual team. Again, working with your certified partner, they'll set up the relays, they'll set up the exchange points on your map, and then you have a really nice relay experience. Yeah,
and we also added the ability for them to manually enter. Maybe you have a relay team member that doesn't want to carry their phone. Well, someone on the team can manually enter in their time, so you can get a more complete look of things. They don't have to, but it does give you a nice, complete look of the performance of the team.
Yep. Yeah, everybody's different, and even on a team, you're going to have those that just kind of don't want to use a phone.
But I see the time, and Lauren needs to close things down. But if you have any questions, feel free to just email info@racejoy.com, and we're happy to help.